All right, everybody, as you could tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be recapping my trades that I took this morning pre-market on FOMC day to pass 10 evals accounts with Apex Trader funding for a total of $30,000 across those 10 accounts. Here is the dollar total P&L showing you $3,100 trade copied across 10 50K eval accounts. So let's jump right into the trades. I have the trade marks lined out here on this side. Got the 5-minute chart pulled up over on the right-hand side, but we're going to zone in and focus on the 1-minute chart that you see here on the left portion of my screen. So I took these trades pre-market, and you can tell that I was pretty much directionally trading the trend that there was this morning. So I have the trade lines marked out. It can be a little difficult to see, but as you'll notice on this first one, I was trading 10 lots per account. So that's 100 contracts across 10 accounts. And I actually took a small $110 loss here, even though I had the direction of the trade correct. So I got short, and I should have sold down here, but I was expecting a continuation to sweep the lows. As we look to the left here at the 841 candle, I was anticipating this to come on down and sweep these lows, but instead we had a couple doji candles and then a gravestone, and then here we came right back up. So ended up taking a loss there. Took another short position as we had this massive bearish engulfing candle, sold down here for 550. And then once we broke above the main EMAs here, we had a nice crossover and then a support, which really just continued the trend all the way up. So a bulk of the P&L came from the 10 contracts here, got in at 18,300, sold at 313 for the 2,700 gain. And then this was the opening range candle that I took, just bought low, sold high, and that allowed me to pass all 10 of the eval accounts that I just showed. So pretty straightforward and pretty simple, but let's look at the macro picture. So I'll zoom out and walk you through my general morning routine when it comes to trading. So as you can see here, we have the lows of the morning session. I have a horizontal line on those. The highs, another horizontal line up there. So you'll notice some fair value gaps along the way that I have charted out. Charted this one here, this fair value gap was formed at 6:30 in the morning and acted pretty true as the market opened, but we'll talk about this in a second. Then we had another swing low down here, which is continuing to act as support even now, and I'm recording this video at 11 in the morning, almost noon, and we have a nice bounce off that yet again coming into VWAP. But so what was I looking at as I took these first directional trades, right? So we have a nice pop above the EMAs, and then it sold off down here. We had a double bottom, and I'll highlight those that you could see. We have a double bottom here, and then another double bottom there. No, I don't want to sell. But yes, I take all these trades in Tradeovate. And what I should have known in hindsight is we had this very strong buy candle right here at 847, which was, opened at 87 and it closed at 92. So very strong. We had a lot of buyers sitting in here. And as you're looking at the, the depth of market, you can really see that along the histogram here on the right-hand side, that this was, we had some buyers came in, a lot of support right here at that time and pushed everything up. So came back in, we had a nice little peak above, but we had the immediate bearish candle, which pushed everything back down. But what happened again? We essentially had a triple bottom. You'll notice right here, 1 bottom, 2 bottom, 3. And then this really confirmed the trend because we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 minutes of bullish candles pretty much. And that rode us straight up through as we headed into the open, which allowed me to take the opening range here. And we came up. But here's what's interesting, right? So you'll notice I have the line here, this horizontal line charting the high. We had the opening push up, came up and immediately brought it back lower. Second candle opened low, came up. It did close above it, but we had an immediate bearish reversal candle that almost engulfed both of the previous 2 candles, had somewhat of a saving grace candle, and then we sold all the way back down. So what happened? Is this somewhat of an ICT silver bullet? Possibly. We did have a fair value gap come in, sweep the highs, grab that liquidity, and then rip this puppy on down lower. So here is one thing I want to point out that can get you caught up in watching supply and demand zones and causing you to lose money. Because I know a lot of people like to say that supply and demand zones can be tried and true and can be pretty solid, which is the case, but nothing works 100% of the time, right? So what are you going to notice? We have this fair value gap that I plotted here, which could have acted as support for somewhat of a bounce, and it did. What do we see? Sells off, had a nice little bounce, came up, sold right back into it. Here we go. So you might want to get long here. And if you did get long, you would take somewhat of a nice profit. Now, if you were anticipating this candle to go on up and take out one of these fair value gaps or trade into it, well, you would have got your stop loss hit, because what happened? We came up, we touched VWAP, doesn't even hold or break above VWAP very much, and then sells right back down into the second support zone that we are now seeing hold true. As I was watching this, I was actually anticipating the lows of the session to get swept and actually come lower, but it's FOMC day, so what are we seeing? A lot of sideways action. It's the areas right here where you will blow your accounts. 1, 2. So speaking from experience, this is where you can blow your accounts. It's just choppy up and down action. I think NQ by nature is largely choppy and not so directional as ES. I used to trade ES completely, but I actually stopped because of how slow it moved. I prefer the volatility and speed of NQ, even though it pays less per contract. I'm okay with that. I don't hold my positions much longer anyways. But so those are my trades for the day. But as we're watching how this is shaking out, we are about 2 hours outside of the FOMC decision and then 2.5 hours outside of the meeting. So obviously I'm not going to be trading that. But to see this right here, this final bounce at the whatever zone this is. Okay, so as we see this bounce right here at 18,255, I think we're going to see a nice directional move up. We are seeing VWAP being held. We saw this, bearish engulfing here, but we actually closed above VWAP, and now we look to be moving above. So I would, depending on what the Fed says today, the Fed has actually been pretty hawkish, bearish with what they've been stating by saying that they're not going to cut rates as much. Inflation is still too high. So we could see a large sell-off if that rhetoric holds true. But who knows? If I had a crystal ball, I wouldn't be here. So that is what I'm seeing right now, guys. We had 3 nice support bounces, and I'm looking to see if this thing can get taken up. However, if we see this come back into the support zone, I would actually probably see this get rated and have the market push lower. So those were the trades that I took this morning, all in total to pass the 10 eval accounts. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4 trades for 3,000 per account, 30,000 total to pass those evals. If you guys have any questions, if you like this kind of content, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, nothing to sell you guys here. Just want to provide the best trading content possible. So thank you so much, guys. Look forward to seeing you in the next video, and I'll talk to you soon.